Hey there, this is Tim. I'm one of the partners, Paragon Partners. It's mid-August, and I'm going to go over my last 30 eBay sales. So you can see here in the last 31 days, we've done just over 17,000. We've had months between 5,000 and 23,000. So this is one of our better months right now. This we sold on consignment for someone. One of my shop guys is a ham guy, and he almost crapped when he saw this. He thought it was a really cool unit. Supposedly this is one of the first digital units which came out. It's just one of the older ones, but it still had a lot of functionality, so we got a good price on it. Now, you wouldn't think these would sell, but they still do. This is a VHS tape rewinder. I got this at the thrift store, like half off for $2 to $3, and folks still want these. Now, I wasn't paying attention. I still had the free shipping on it, and so the shipping ate up most of the profits, unfortunately. Now, I didn't quite understand this one. I got this for a couple bucks, and obviously I didn't make that much. This was an iPod, but it's not like any of the iPods I was ever familiar with, or I see get the money. And it had a USB connection onto it. So I started at a 99-cent sale, and obviously it didn't take off. These are some old radio tubes, and this was advertised as a repair kit because it had other parts in it. And if I had a vacuum tube test kit where I could test these, then I could probably need more money. But I've looked at the test kits because I run into these tubes once or twice a month, so I thought it was worth getting. But a test kit by itself is like $200, so I haven't thought about it. Put up for 99-cent auction and only got one bid, and I know I paid more than that for it. I paid a couple bucks for it. What made this unit worthwhile? Two things: is it had the remote, and it was a DVD VHS combo. And later on, I showed it with the picture, and so it did pretty well. Now, I was happy with this. I couldn't believe this, a lot of 4 iPods for $20 at the swap meet. And they're all different versions. This is one of the lesser ones. And I just started at 99-cent auctions. And I've definitely seen the other iPods take off, as did this one. So it did pretty well. I love it when I buy a lot and the first one I already make my money back. This was a Pioneer receiver. If I thought about it, I may have kept this for myself because these are actually pretty good. These Pioneers are one of the upper end, so perhaps I should have gotten more out of it. I had mentioned a couple of times my partner. He bought over a business office, and it was just full of a lot of phone and standard office equipment. This is one of the items in it. It was a 3 intercom system. Of course, this was old. It was left over from Radio Shack days. But I put it up there, and I accepted the best offer of like around $24 or $8 a unit. We got these mice. We got a couple of these. I had purchased a lot from Facebook, and I was only a couple bucks into it. So you can see you didn't make a bunch, but I certainly made my multiple. Oh, I can't believe we sold this. I'd actually been kicking this around for over a year. We got this out of a huge surplus auction, and normally I don't carry items for that long. This was a big 3-strand printer, and I originally had $100 on it. I kept on lowering and lowering and lowering it. Accepted $20. So obviously I didn't make that much, but after looking at it for a year, I was glad to have the space back. This is a lens. We took $700 on this, and we sold it on consignment. And you can see these high-end lenses, they do pretty well. This is another item I got from the thrift store, but it didn't go for the 40. It went for less than I expected, something like around 28. So I was actually a little disappointed in the price on this one. A rifle scope. We set this one at auction, and rifle scopes, they don't get much money, but they do get a lot of attention, and they're consistent winners for us. So I do pick these up when I can. Oh, now on this one, I had picked up both the left and right sides of these from the thrift store. They were 20 bucks, but I got them half off, so I got them for 10 bucks each, or 20 bucks for the pair. And instead of putting them on as a pair, I put them on individually. Now, if you're to buy this new, you'd be around $250. So I was thinking, okay, these are going to be pretty good. One of them sold right away at like $80, but the second one did not. So it took us a while to sell it. And one thing I don't like about these is you're unsure of the state. I mean, they may have been donated to the thrift store because they're not working. So I was taking a bit of a gamble on it, but fortunately they both worked. I had a bunch of appliance parts, so I've slowly been getting rid of them. I had like a whole lot of these, at least 2 dozen. Kind of the problem with these small appliance parts is I'm competing against the Chinese cheapies who will ship it for cheap. And so these haven't been big margins for us. Oh, now these I purchased at an auction. Now, some time ago I had a lot of these out individually. And I sold probably like about 25% that way, between $5 and $10 an issue. And so after that was done, I threw them all together in this lot. And I'd seen these magazines do pretty well individually, so I was a little surprised they didn't sell. I didn't get that much out of the slot. And these were left over from the 60s and 70s. I mean, I think they're really cool. They're talking about steam automotives of the period. I thought it was really neat. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get more out of it. But I remember I bought all of them at the auction for about like $15, so I already made my money back on the first 2 I sold. This was Sony. Now I was surprised I did so well on this one. Sony, it's a solid midline brand, but it's not like Pioneer. But this one had more demand to it when I looked it up, so I went ahead and got it. And this was from the thrift store. It's $10, and I got it for $5, so I certainly did well on it. These Xboxes, I'm not selling as much anymore, just because I don't have a good way to test them. I'm not familiar with this genre, and I don't know how to measure the hard drive capacity or what's on it either. But I had actually picked this up at the swap meet for $1, and I knew for $1 I wasn't going to lose. So that's the only reason why I picked it up. Now, I see in the Xbox category there are definitely people who know this niche. I do not. And so that's why I tend to stay out of it, just because I don't have the knowledge base to accurately represent the product. This one, another one I was happy with. We listed at $89.99, and we only got 1 bid for it. So it did make our full asking price. And most of these reels, 95% of them go for less than $10, but there's some good ones out there. This is one of the good ones that I got, and this was sold on consignment. Again, this is an old film camera, so on the price. I purchased this. This was a swap meet, and I got it for about $5, I believe. So I made my multiple, but it was so. Now, these were sold on consignment as well. I started the listing at $99, and it took off from there, and we're happy with the results. Oh, my partner, if you've been following me, he bought a large medical lot, and we've been slowly getting rid of it. And this is one of the items. We made our money a long time ago. Oh, let me show you a difference here. Let me go back. So this is a photograph I took in my little photo lab. You can see it's so. So not too long ago, we hired a pro photographer, and this is her photograph. So you can see the difference from my so photograph. I give this about a 6 on a scale 1 to 10, and her photograph. She actually used to photograph objects for Amazon, so she's very used to the white background and how to work with it. Now, these records, I've seen other YouTube videos where sellers talk about how they make a killing in this category. I watch a lot of The Auction Professor, and I've seen a lot of people supposedly do well. Maybe I just haven't picked the right ones because I haven't done that well. Now, obviously, when I buy these, I'm buying them for between a quarter and 50 cents each, so it's not like I have that much into it. But just the time to do it. And I made a mistake, too. This had free shipping, so I didn't make that much on it. So I'm not sure how many more of these I'm going to get into or do. Oh, now this was another thrift store find. It was 20 bucks. I got it for 10. And I got it because I know anything Bose is pretty good and sells well. Now these were the computer speakers. So they're not as valuable as the regular stereo speakers. You know, it was kind of funny. I hooked these up to my computer to test them, and I couldn't tell the difference. So I'm obviously not an audiophile, but there are others out there who are really into it and who enjoyed it. Oh, this one I got for 20 bucks at a local auction. They use this in restaurants to circulate the air to get rid of odors. Now this one was a pain because the buyer bought it, but then he decided to return it. And when he returned it, the knob was missing. So I decided not to resell it on eBay. So again, I sold it at another local auction. I had them flip it, and it sold for like 20 bucks. So by the time I was through it, this was a money loser for me. This one we sold for $800. This was sold on by consignment as well. We actually had two of these, and we got a really good price on both of them. Now, obviously, this is a higher quality because I've seen air filters for the home that go from 20 to 60 bucks, and this one we're getting a multiple of 10 out of. This was another one we sold on consignment. Now, we only sold it because we knew the guy who gave it to us. A large problem, whenever you buy these surge protectors, well, let me back up. When you sell a lot of these UPS supplies, the reason why people are getting rid of the UPS supplies is because the battery is no longer good in it. It's bad, so that's why they're doing it to the thrift store. They have you sell it. This wasn't a UPS, which I'm always leery of. This is a power conditioner and filter. So it not only does it filter spikes, but it keeps the amperage steady, or the power going into your line steady. So that's why it got so much. These are digital recorders. I remember actually using these in the 90s. I had picked these up for 99 cents each, so obviously I made the money back. But they were, each, they weren't going to sell, so we put them together in a slot and still did okay. This we accepted. It was an offer for like around $180 on this, and again, this was sold on consignment. You've been following me. You know my partner. He also bought out a large watch repair service, and luckily he recognized all the valuable metals in it. That's one of his categories, and so he's just been loading them all up and selling them as scrap, and we've been doing pretty well. Oh, now this one I remember was sold for $800, and after the guy paid for it, he was actually one town over, so he wanted to do a local pickup. I said, okay, that's fine. So I went ahead and met him, and he had a bit of a story. He said that actually his wife had died like 6 months ago. He got the life insurance policy, and so he's been using the money to enrich his life, and this is one of the things he bought. And I know if, I should be happy or sad for him. It was a little bit of an odd story. But this is one that, fortunately, I didn't have to pack up. This wouldn't have been a pain. I remember this. Everything was good on it, but it was missing one of the legs, which is why it wasn't new. Again, I picked these up like the swap meet consistently for $1. They sell, but I'm competing against all the Chinese cheapies, and so it's not as easy to do. Now, I only sell it because it's an Apple, and so I know it works well. Anyway, that's it. If you think I had any hits or misses, be sure to let me know. You hear this in every video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Take care.